So getting back to what we were discussing about, this year's draft is going to be weird. It's going to get to the point to where who is the number one overall pick going to go to? Is it going to be the Patriots? Is it going to be Jacksonville? I mean, we don't really know. It's it's very hard to say. It's a little bit too early to tell. I know right now, at the end of week 8, it's New England has the number one draft pick. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's going to get Travis. They're going to get Travis Hunter." I don't actually like Travis Hunter for New England. I don't really even like him as the number one overall draft pick because in the NFL, it's yes, it is very important to be a multi-disciplined player where you can play multiple different positions. But I mean, when you go from offense as a wide receiver to a cornerback in the NFL, this is not Pee Wee League anymore. You can't do that. You have to pick one, or you're going to get hurt. It's you can't be on the field for what 60 minutes nonstop. Teams are not going to want you to do that. They're either going to want you to pick defense or offense. So in that case, until he actually picks a side, I don't think he will go number one. And if he does, I don't think he will be that good of a player in the NFL. Is he in college the best player offensively and defensively? Arguably, yes. I just don't see it as it going to happen with this year's draft. I mean, you got Emeka, for example. I do apologize if I pronounced that wrong. I actually have him as the number one wide receiver, and I actually believe a wide receiver could go first, if not in the top 5. Um, I think that this year's quarterback race is not good. It's a subpar quarterback race this year. And is there going to be teams that do need quarterbacks? Absolutely. There's always going to be a team that needs quarterbacks. The problem with that, teams no longer want to develop a quarterback. They want a quarterback coming right out of college, ready to play, and who can perform and do turnarounds right now. It's not like how it was 10, 15 years ago, or 20, 25 years ago, where they would pick a quarterback and develop them. Man, this isn't the Aaron Rodgers of the league anymore, or the Tom Brady's, or the Brett Favre's, or however many quarterbacks you can think of, or Jordan Love even could be put in that development, like with Patrick Mahomes. It's teams don't typically develop quarterbacks anymore. They want a quarterback willing to come in and perform and make a difference right now. And if you can't do that, then bye. Basically, they're going to get rid of you. So this year's, I don't see a quarterback doing very well in this year's draft. I don't see a quarterback being picked number one overall, unless there's a that bad of a needy quarterback team out there. And I just don't see it. There's too many good quarterbacks getting ready to be out on the free agent market this year. Like Geno Smith, for example. Great quarterback. I think he is a good bridge quarterback. I think he could, with the right team around him and the right system, I think he could win. And he's shown what he can do right now in Seattle. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think that system is good for Geno Smith. Sam Daniels, for example, Donalds, or whatever his name, for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, look what he's doing for Minnesota. He's going out there winning football games. And, I mean, their quarterback who they just picked, I think it was JJ McCarthy, or one of those quarterbacks in last year's draft. and he's hurt for the year. So he's on a expiring contract. He's not playing for Minnesota next year. The only way I could see that happening if he comes back and plays for Minnesota is if he goes out and wins a Super Bowl. And I just don't think he's good enough to do that yet. So with that being said, the quarterback race is not going to be there this year. Sorry, this damn camera. So I actually think America is going to go number one, or you could even say Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. He's ranked number 4 as the wide receiver. I actually like him better as a lot of the other guys. I mean, let's just break it down for him between America and Harris. It's let's see here. The quarterback rating for America is 126.7 when he's on the field. Harris, 140.6. Harris flat out makes your quarterback better. I mean, America does too. Don't get me wrong. They're two phenomenal wide receivers. They're a true number 1 receiver right now in the NFL. And it's just crazy for those two. I mean, what is it? His Harris's 40 time is 4.4. America's 40 time is 4.3. I mean, you got a 36.5 vertical for America. I don't remember what Harris's vertical is, but just those two alone are, in my opinion, going to go number 1 and number 2. The number 1 wide receiver, and I do apologize if I'm not saying these names correctly. Teterada. His 40 time is 4.5. He's a 6'5" wide receiver. He's got length. Now, the only problem I don't like about him is his QB rating is 110, which is still good. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see why he's ranked number 1 over Trey Harris or America. It's just because of you don't make your quarterback look as good. Now, I do believe you put Teteria over with New England with Drake May, because Drake May loves the bigger wide receivers. I mean, look what he's doing with Travis Hunter. Or is it Henry? That's Travis Hunter or Henry. I mean, he targets them he's getting 7-8 receptions a game for him because he's 6'5". Drake May feels comfortable with him because of his size. You throw the ball to a guy at 6'5", chances are he's coming down with that ball because he can just reach right above everyone else on the field and come down with it. I mean, his 40 time is 4.5 is still a good time. I mean, that is a fantastic time. Now, here's one player who I do believe is going to do a lot better, but he's not going to be your number 1 wide receiver, so to say. He's a dark horse. And the only reason he's not doing better than what he is because he's 5'10". He's short. I mean, he plays for Virginia. His 40 time is His 40 time is 4.29. That boy's got some speed on him. His QB rating is 104. I mean, he's 5'10". He will do wonders. I think he's going to be like a KJ Osborne. You get him with a true number 1 wide receiver, he will come away with 800-900 yards a year. Easy. If he's able to keep up with it. I mean, just those wide receivers alone are going to do better this year and versus last. The QBs are. I don't like these QBs this year. I just don't see them doing anything all that well. Give me 1 second. We're going to have to switch my notepad around. Oh man, I forgot. wide receiver right here. So on our last wide receiver, Xavier, he is supposed to be another very good wide receiver. He's ranked number 3. Again, I don't like the size though. That's the only thing. He's 5'10". He plays for Miami. His 40 time is not bad. It's 4.4. The QB rating is 116. So he does make the QB. All these wide receivers makes these QBs look good. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a NFL scout, so who knows? These quarterbacks, though, in my opinion, just aren't doing very well whatsoever. Drew Alter, he's supposed to be the number 10 overall. He's 6'5". I think that's why I got him ranked as number 1. 238 pounds. He's tall. He's quick. He has a trigger of an arm. It's just he's a beast. He can read defenses. He's willing to stay in the pocket, which is a big thing in the QB range. The only problem with him, or the few problems I did see with him, his footwork needs to be a little bit better. But I think that's with all the QBs, though. I mean, take Drake May, Jen Daniels, Caleb Williams. I mean, you pick any one of them. They're all NFL scouts are going to say the same thing. Oh, their footwork needs to improve before they actually. I mean, and then look what they got and do. I mean, his processing time could be better. I do believe, like I said earlier, though, this QB, in order to be good, needs to sit for 1 or 2 years, just to get to see how the NFL speed is. And I think then you turn him loose, and he is going to be a top 10 quarterback. I think he is going to be like a a Kirk Cousins. Great quarterback. I don't think he'll ever really truly win you a Super Bowl, but he will get you to the playoffs and deep into the playoff runs year in and year out. Maybe with the right system, maybe with the right wide receivers and defenses around him, he will. But right now, he's just not going to do it. So it's hard saying. Carson Beck, he's a 6'4" stud. What can you say? He reminds me a lot of the Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett type of deal. He's going to be a great quarterback one of these days. I guess, but then I'm a big fan of being tall in the NFL is going to be your biggest thing in offense, especially as a QB or a wide receiver. You need to be tall. You need to have a good arm. Carson Beck does do that. Cam Ward, he's another one. His QB rating is stout. It's 124.3. And this guy reminds me of Jano Daniels. Great ball security, can run the ball. I mean, right there, it's enough said. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of those type of players. It's just, with this being said, it's just a weird year. I don't even think this year's NFL draft is going to do all that well, to be perfectly honest with you. I do want to get into some of the upsets of this year's draft for the Patriots, though. Jalen Polk, is he a bust or is he just a funk? From what I see so far, he's going to be a bust. I mean, he was good in college. I think he's going to be another one of those players like KJ Osborne. Going to be very good if you put him with a true number 1 wide receiver. It's just, he's gone for 10 for, he's caught 10 for 78 yards. maybe he just needs more time. I don't really know. I mean, I want him to do very good because he's a Patriots fan. But, I mean, we had the chance to get Mitchell. He, in my opinion, he's the better wide receiver. I mean, look what he's done compared to Polk. Now, you could say that this has a lot to do with the quarterback. But even then, since May has been in, Polk hasn't done very well. Mitchell has 10 receptions for 109 yards. Longest is a 30. He has, 6 first downs. I don't even think Polk has one. It's just Jalen Polk needs to do better. I'm sorry. I want him to do good. The Patriots have a bunch of number 2 receivers at best. We don't have a true number 1 wide receiver. Coaching staff has to do better in this. Went back to what we were saying earlier. It flat out needs to be better. I mean, it's gotten to the point to where we can't even make trades on the trade deadline because all that's going to happen is, oh no, we want to build off the draft. Well, you build off the draft, but you need to create capital in order to do that, or it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. You're not making the effort to make it better. We're not making the effort to get a true number 1 wide receiver for Drake May to throw him the ball. It needs to get better, or everyone needs to get fired. One of the two. Peace.